Hola.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's Monday. Got a big week ahead of us. Got a loaded slate. Gianni's going to join us with the Steam Report. Crackman's going to drop an NBA prop. And we'll get some thoughts on Monday Night Football, and I got a couple other interesting tidbits to ask him. Steve Merril going to give us a quick look at Eagles and Chargers, along with Suns Timberwolves. Interesting game in the NBA tonight. And we're going to start talking about bowl games. Steve just breaks down every single bowl game in the video, so we're going to start talking a little bit about bowl games and get ready for that. I want to get his thoughts on the Notre Dame situation. So we got some good insights. We got some good matchups and a really, really big week ahead. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get started here. Hit that like button, and let's bring in Gianni. Gianni, you and I were talking before the show, and you and I both are coming off of monster wins personally. So I'll let you go first. Talk to us about you had Josh Van and you win in the first 30 seconds because of a fluke injury. We'll take it, brother.
I will take it, bro. It dawned on me that the inside the distance applies 500 hit about 8 minutes later after celebrating the win. I was like, oh my God, does that count inside the distance too? It was so incredible. I swear to you, I left the arena. I was at T-Mobile and I didn't even stay for the main event. My 16 fighter parlay was in. I had hit for the show. I hit my 5%. Like everything was perfect. Let's get out of here. Let's go celebrate this. So it was just a perfect night. And it's been a great week. College football was great. NFL was great. Since starting the Steam sheet, it's really helped me lower that volume where I'm able to share all the information for guys that handicap their own stuff and want to become plus EV bettors themselves, but then also really narrow down that premium card to the strongest possible stuff. And the results have been really, really good. I'm so excited for the bowl season coming up. Like the power ratings have more data now than ever in the season. So I'm really confident heading into this bowl season. Historically, that's been very, very profitable. NFL end of the season as well. College basketball, we're getting more and more data, and NBA. So those power ratings are tightening up as well, as you can tell from the recent results. And just really excited. Again, it's the holidays coming up. Having extra money in your pocket. That's what I wanted to do. But please, 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 stay consistent with bet size. Do not make the mistake of thinking, well, I was betting $100 a game. He's up 40 units. I made 4 dimes. I could be up 8 dimes if I was just betting 200. Don't do that. Don't make it harder on yourself than it needs to be. Stay consistent. We'll keep cashing more than we trash. And real quickly before we move on, I need to give out my comment about the college football rankings. I'm going to tell you right now, anyone that's been following Bet on it, I think can see that I have no opinion at all. I have no bias at all. I could care less what the teams are. I just trust what my numbers tell me. And here's what my numbers tell me, that Notre Dame should be in the college football playoffs well before Miami. In fact, on a neutral field, if they were playing right now in my backyard, Notre Dame, the true line, not the fair line, the true power rating line, Notre Dame would be an 8.5 point favorite over that Miami team that they lost to back in August or September. That's what the disconnect that a lot of recreational bettors don't understand, that there's a lot of randomness to a 60-minute football game. And even though you have to slightly adjust your power ratings based on the result, you don't adjust significantly. And just a perfect example, Eagles versus Chicago. Chicago beat the Eagles as 7-point dogs. People in Chicago are going nuts. But what they didn't realize is if they were playing the very next day, Eagles would still be a heavy favorite against Chicago. Maybe not a 7-point favorite, but still around a 5 or 6 point favorite. That's the disconnect. And I think that's where the argument comes in. Like, wait, Miami beat Notre Dame, so of course Miami should be in there. No. There's a lot of random. They could have played that game a day later, 3 days later, and the outcome could have been very different. That's why I stick to what the power ratings say, because they have no opinion. They don't care. It's strictly data. And right now, it's Indiana's the best team in the country, followed by Ohio State, followed by Oregon, followed by Georgia, followed by Texas Tech. Those are the 5 best teams in the country power rating wise. And right behind them is Notre Dame. Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, and Georgia and Texas Tech are the only 5 teams that would be favored over Notre Dame on a neutral field. And even Indiana against Notre Dame would only be about a 1-point favorite. That's how close these teams are with Notre Dame and Indiana. And believe it or not, Ohio State, if they played again tomorrow, would still be favored over Indiana. I repeat, if Ohio State played Indiana tomorrow, Ohio State would still be about a 2.5, 3-point favorite. That's how the market works. And I think that's a lot the disconnect with more recreational fans thinking, team A beats team B. That's who the better team is, not necessarily.
I think I agree with you. I mean, I went to Indiana, but I've been wearing my IU hoodie all week, and if they rematch again, I would absolutely have Ohio State as the favorite. Myself,
Right?
Yeah.
And I love Indiana. I had Indiana. They cashed for me. I'm happy with Indiana, but just my power ratings show Ohio State would still be favored over them.
Yeah, we've just been hammering the unders on the opponent team total of Ohio State. So I'm sad that the season's coming to an end because that gravy train isn't going to be around anymore. We'll have to find some other. Any other thoughts here on any of these first round games? We got James Madison at Oregon, Tulane.
That's what's going to be interesting. That's what I'm interested in, to see how those kind of teams perform, because power rating wise, there's a huge discrepancy. And let me give you an example. Right now, James Madison, okay, power rated wise, I have 35 plus teams that would be favored over the 12-1 James Madison, including 6-6 Penn State. That would be about a 10, 11 point favor over James Madison. In fact, a team like Indiana would be 3 touchdown favorites over James Madison. That's the difference. Like, you win your conference, you're in. But the difference that between the top teams and the bottom tier teams, there's no parity. This isn't the NFL where any given Sunday, James Madison could play Indiana 100 times, and 100 times Indiana's going to win that game outright. They may not cover the spread, but they will win that game 100 times because they just have the better athletes. Like, unless that they all get injured or something like that, they are the better team. Again, there's a lot of randomness, turnovers, bad calls, whatever. But 99 out of 100 times that would still happen. Where in the NFL, that's not the case. We see it all the time. Like, the 32nd team can have a winning day on Sunday, and the most they'll ever be is 2 touchdown dogs, and we haven't even seen that this year. But in college football, you're talking between the rankings between the first team and the 10th team, 12th team could sometimes be 3 touchdowns plus. That's the difference. Some of these teams have no business being in there. I think RJ said it best: zero business being there. And but hey, that's how the system's set up. And it's like March Madness. We see it in March Madness all the time, where number 1 versus 16, they're 40-point favorites. They're not going to lose, but once every 40 years it happens. So who knows? Maybe this is the year, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you. I got to say this. My Ohio State friends have been very quiet the last couple of years.
Silence.
Not a lot of phone
Their
calls.
Their silence is deafening. It's deafening, like the Bears. It's like the Bears fans. Their silence is deafening today.
There was a lot of chatter leading up to the game, but boy, they must just be I don't know what happened there.
Let's gambling Twitter.
Exactly.
They show up before, never after.
It's so true. Let's talk Steam Report. I know we only got a few NBA games. We got some college basketball. What are we seeing here? It's a bettable slate, but not a ton of games.
It is.
There's still some good spots.
And I didn't put out a Steam sheet today because there's such a small board, and I could just share that here on WagerTalk Today with you guys, and my subscribers will get the premium stuff. Most of the stuff got hit overnight. Here's what I'm talking about. NBA. Indiana -3.5 got hit, moved about a 0.5 point. Haven't seen many groups piggyback in that. Another one, Minnesota. The overnight got hit at 8.5. Since it sat at about 10, we haven't seen any action. But I kind of like the Minnesota side. I'm starting to see public taking the Phoenix side. Again, I don't like to just fade the public, but I don't mind being on the sharp side when they're anti-public. And also the under got hit at 227.5, and they moved that quickly. So not much to piggyback. College basketball, all added games, 306, 530, Penn -5 and 5.5. 306, 532. Charlotte Southern, Charlton Southern, forgive me, -7.5 and 8. And then 306, 538, Kansas State from -31 all the way to -34. They were hitting it when it opened. Quickly limit bet. Since then, they've been getting piggyback and over 56, 57, and 58. Those numbers are gone. And finally, Incarnate Word. They took them as a dog, took them at Pick'em. Now they're the 1-point favorite. The three that stick out the most that I saw multiple groups, I would say Minnesota in the NBA. And then in college basketball, it's Charleston Southern and Incarnate Word, where I would say there's been agreement from the sharps on those three sides.
All right. So what all did you have on your Josh Van? I'm curious. You said you had him inside the
I had 5% on Josh Van, 5% at +200. Dude, I put that out as soon as that line up like last Sunday. And the only reason I didn't release the 5% in college football or NFL, because I told Johnny I have some that warrant it, but I want Van to be that big of a bet. Like, I liked him that much. Even if he lost it, I felt confident I was getting the best of it. And then I had a 2% on him inside the distance at +500. So we picked up like 20 units in that fight, man. Like, it felt perfectly. And on the show for UFC on the Line, that put me now, I think I might have catapulted and finished first for the year. So it just turned out perfectly, almost like you couldn't write a better ending. And sometimes it's tough. We got to take it when it's hard on you. But when it all falls your way, it's why we do it. So great couple days for sure.
Anything on Monday Night Football? We got some injuries. It looks like Herbert's going to play. I know Lane Johnson and Jalen Carter out. Okay.
I've done well with these primetime games. Here's what you got to just determine. Is Philly, have the wheels fallen off, and is this team not who they are? They are former shell of themselves. Because on paper, they're the better team. They have the better offense, they have the better defense, and they have the tougher strength of schedule. So even with the tougher strength of schedule, they've produced more impressive offensive and defensive statistics. So they're the better team. And home field advantage for Chargers isn't more than 2 points. So Philly should be the rightful road favorite. But is this version of Philadelphia not that version of Philadelphia? And if that's the case, it's an auto bet on the Chargers as home dogs. And I think that's why they took out the +3s on the Chargers, thinking that the Eagles are a former shell of themselves. But if you think that was just 2 bad games, then you're getting this team at a huge discount. So far, I haven't seen much risk on this one. Probably going to end up, the books needing the Chargers. Usually the favorite, less than a field goal, gets the money. But I haven't seen real sharp money other than taking out that 3 and a little bit on the under when that total opened at 43.5.
Yeah, it's pretty good player props in that one. That's kind of how I'll be playing it. So what do you have up for everyone on this Monday?
Just the long-term pack. The bowl package is already up. We're going to start releasing plays this week. So you don't want to wait because, as you know, those lines aren't going to be staying there for very long. Football package will be up as well with the NFL. We had that special running for the year. I told them just 24 hours because there will never be that cheap again. I don't think that's available anymore. But if I'm able to confirm this Monday night game, we're going to fire. Primetime games have been money for me. Now 18-9 over the last 27 best bets on Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. So hopefully we get some confirmation. Otherwise, we just move on to the next day. All about best bets and placing good bets so we could be profitable and turn in a nice holiday. So best of luck to everyone this week and do some damage.
All right. Thank you, Gianni. You're the GOAT. As always, congratulations on your big win here. All right, we got a lot to get to, but first, quick announcement here. Very excited about this one. I think about 9 months since I took over hosting the show. We're kind of learning a lot of what works, what doesn't work, and some of the bright spots. And we really want to lean into that. One of the bright spots has absolutely been Dan coming on and being on camera more. So we got to lean into that. He and I have really had a really good bond since we've been joining the show. So let's bring on Dan. Dan, you are now officially the co-host of WagerTalk Today. So we want to,
wow.
Who would have thunk it, Andy? Look at that
Yeah,
face.
yeah. No,
how do we not have that face?
I shaved. I even showered. I was like, well, usually, Andy, I produced the show. I've been producing Wager Talk Today since I joined with Wager Talk over 3 years ago. It's a show that I have loved being a part of. And usually, I'm the grubby producer behind the scenes. So I was talking with Johnny and Rick and Kelly, and they were like, why don't you actually shower before the show? You're already hanging out with Andy. Throw yourself on the show. We'll bounce some things around with some of these guests. So, Andy, I'm pumped to be here. I mean, the community that you have built on this show has been something great. We have people who each and every week they're commenting with who they agree with, who they disagree with. For instance, we got people who win 3-day flex passes because they played the sell me game where each and every Friday, Teddy breaks down a side, you break down a side, and we got Chris Robichaud, who's a Wager Talk insider here. He's a winner of a free 3-day flex pass simply because he watched the show, he engaged with the community. So congratulations to you, Chris. But Andy, I couldn't be more pumped. Who would have thought 3 years ago, when you and I were recording Life in the Fast Lane, that we would see emblazoned upon us above our heads the Wager Talk Today logo with you and I hanging out. So we're pumped and we appreciate them, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. It's listen, our job on this show is to build your guys' bankroll. We want to inform, we want to entertain. Job number one is building the bankroll. And Dan, you have absolutely proven to be very, very valuable for that. So congratulations. We got some really good.
Appreciate it, man.
We got some really good comments. RJ, I love you. RJ has one of the funnier auto corrects. He was nice enough to put a same game parlay in the chat, and we have to pull this one up. I mean, Fears, Herb Jones, and Vaseline. It's Vassell. It's supposed to be Vassell, but RJ, congratulations. That's autocorrect of the day. Vaseline to have 12 plus points. Thank you for posting that, though. Someone wants to know about anytime touchdown. Dan, we talked about the props earlier. Yep. I said Quentin Johnston, maybe. Jalen Hurts even is probably my favorite. This may be a tough game for touchdown props.
Well, and here's the thing is you're asking for touchdown scorers in a game that's lined at, 41.5. And as far as NFL totals go, it's not like it's expected to be some big shootout. These are two defenses who are pretty stout. The Eagles run defense definitely takes a bit of a hit as Jalen Carter's going to be out tonight. I'm sure people have heard that. So, yeah, if you want to, you probably look towards Marion Hampton. It's a team who likes, pushing the ball, through running and setting it up through the air. And like you said, too, it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If Jalen Hurts is around the 2-yard line, it's a tush push. And you're getting even money. I mean, let's be real, Andy. Betting anytime touchdowns in 2025 ain't betting anytime touchdowns in the last few years. Prices have gone crazy. So, terrible. even money, it's kind of telling you, hey, if they're around the goal line, it's a good luck. I mean, a Marion Hampton plus 180. Eagles receivers. Here's one thing. Dallas Goedert, he hasn't really been featured as of late. But there was a stretch in the season, Andy, I believe it was a 6-game stretch where Dallas Goedert had a touchdown or 2 touchdowns in. So if you want something that's a little bit juicier, a team that's not all that great at defending tight ends, Dallas Goedert getting in the end zone at around plus 295, plus 300, that could be something. But those are no bets that I'm making. I'm not making touchdown score bets in a 41.5 line game. I'm just not.
That's the honest answer is if you want to, because you're going to be watching the game and it's a tiny little, but I cannot find value. I cannot find a good reason, but if I had to pick one, it'd be Jalen Hurts. But
yeah, it's someone you throw into boost if you're betting a same game parlay with pizza money for fun tonight because you need action on the game, throwing in anytime touchdown score. But the game isn't lined as, take your pick on who's going to score a touchdown.
Yeah. This wasn't the Cowboys Lions where just line them up and cash them. So let's go to our week 14 questions, and we'll go to where the books won, where the public won, and we'll talk about some props and fantasy winners and losers. Questions. Is this just a random bad year? Or is this something worse for the Chiefs? I think we got to start asking those questions. I wasn't ready to do that yet, but Now they're like plus 400 to try just to even make the playoffs. Who is the best team in the NFC South? Is it the Panthers?
I mean, my ticket on the Panthers to make the playoffs or to win the division, I definitely hope so. But it's a week by week basis, man. Like who is the best? Are any of them good? Are all of them good? We know that it's not the Falcons. We know that.
Yeah, it's not Kirk Cousins. But interesting question. Are the Dolphins sneaky good? We buried the Dolphins. We buried them early in the season. And now they're winning. They're a running team, power running team, Miami Dolphins. Who would have thunk it?
Well,
oh Andy, my God, Dan.
There's different ways that you can get to 6 and 7 because now you have, and I'm not even going to do the hand motion. That's ridiculous. But we have 3 teams sitting there at 6 and 7, and we have the Chiefs. Oh, think of the way that they have got there. It's been a slog. You have the Ravens who started awful. Now they're 6 and 7. The Dolphins are also 6 and 7. So why are they not talked in the same ilk as those two teams? It's because how ugly it was to start the year. And Mike McDaniel wasn't fired. The team rallied behind him. They continue to cover point spreads.
What do my Colts do now? Oh my God. We traded our first round picks. We traded our first round picks for Sauce. He gets hurt, and now Dimes is out. And now we don't even have our first round pick. They said maybe he might make it for the start of next season. You're crazy. You're not putting your quarterback out there after that. So
they're not putting their quarterback out there, Andy. They put the quarterback out there with a broken bone in his leg.
Yeah, maybe they will. Maybe they will put him out there. Who knows? What do I know? Who's the MVP? This one changes every week. It's Josh Allen's turn this week. It has the big game, but this one is tough for me. I would have to say Josh Allen at this point, but certainly not anything I'm willing to make a bet
Stafford.
on. Yeah, Stafford, great one. Yeah. And then finally
last week. Yeah,
Yeah, and then Dan, how much would you have to pay someone to go watch a Jets game in person?
I don't think the number exists, Andy. I mean, that's because let alone you have to go to MetLife Stadium. I mean, I've been to MetLife. I saw an Eagles game there. I was in a box with Kelly and Ariel at MetLife Stadium, and it still wasn't that great of an experience. So, unless it's a Jets road game, maybe you can talk me into it. But yeah, that's tough to watch. That's tough to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions this week, but those are the ones I narrowed it down to. We'll go to where the books won and where the public won. The books, a lot of money on the unders here. Everyone was on the under in Cleveland, Tennessee. That goes over. Balt Pitt under. That one goes over. Tampa, New Orleans. And then I got to put asterisks by the Denver minus the points. This is the rigged game of the week that everyone is clamoring about on social media. I'm not going there. I actually went back and watched the sequence. It makes sense why he kicked the field goal, because it was like, if there happens to be 1 second on the clock as the ball goes through the uprights, do you get a chance to do? What was ridiculous was the delay of game penalty. That was laughable. That was
like bumps into Lockett, and that happens every game. You know what I mean? Like towards the end of the game, they'll hold on a little bit longer. So I don't know if it was quite as egregious to be Dave Portnoy calling for the murder of Pete Carroll after the game was done.
I didn't like that
too much.
It was
a bit much. But it was certainly one of the worst beats of the season. That we can agree on.
It was funny. Him doing his thing was a little over the top, and then he crossed the line. That was a bad.
Yeah, when you say murder.
Yeah. Where the public went, Dolphins minus the points. That was the big winner. And the Rams, no sweat, minus the points. Let's go to some prop winners. A lot of winners here this week. CeeDee Lamb had a big week. RJ Harvey. Jackson Smith and Jigba. I feel like we're not even talking enough about the season that this guy is having. Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. Great game for them, props and stats-wise, in that snowy weather. Dawson Knox had a huge game in that one. Shador, 300-plus yards passing. Harold Fannin, him and Harold Fannin seem to have a good connection. Tony Pollard had a big day. Jaden Daniels is actually supposed to be in the losers. I got that one wrong. Jalen Wright, by the way, bummer on Achane. Achane got over his prop total. I know a lot of people had him to go over 100 yards. He leaves the game and the backup comes in and goes for 100 yards. Brutal. Saints quarterback rushes for some touchdowns. ETN, he's now the man. I think Basil Tootin got hurt yesterday, so that's going to be a big week. Brian Thomas Jr. Hey, thanks to Brian Thomas Jr. for showing up after you nuked our fantasy teams and were eliminated. Thanks for getting off the schneid this late, prick. DK Metcalf had a big game. Zay Flowers.
Rick.
It's so bad. Christian Watson, he's having a big season there in Green Bay. The Rams just as a whole. And then my BFF is Michael Wilson. Can we just sit Marvin Harrison Jr. for the rest of the season, please? Let Michael Wilson catch 17 passes for 150 yards every week, please. Losers. George Pickens had an off week. Ashton Genty killed everyone's props. Everyone was on his receiving props. Did nothing. Kirk Cousins is just absolutely terrible. Chase Brown, that was a big loser for me yesterday. They just bottled him up, and he could not get anything going with the rushing. Harold Fannin, not Harold Fannin. Justin Jefferson, Baker Mayfield. The Colts, what do you do with the Colts players now? And then Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey, yikes, those drops, man. Those drops were just awful.
That's been all. Here's the thing, Andy, is that's been all year for this team. And one of the few things, like Chris Collinsworth doesn't usually say much of value, but one of the things that he actually did say of value last night was pointing out that the story of the season for this Chiefs team has been their stars underperforming, whether it's how bad of a zip Pat Mahomes looks on his ball. I mean, when they were showing his highlight package, like that deep bomb that he had, completely an underthrown ball. If that was Pat Mahomes 2 years ago, he's hitting him in stride for a touchdown. All the drops for Kelsey, the fact that they can't figure anything out at running back, the fact that the pass rush, Karlaftis looks like he can't find his way or pass rush his way out of a paper bag. So that's been the story of the year for them, man. You can just put them on the losers for the year. Somebody had a hot take they were going to miss the playoffs before this season right here on this show, Andy, and he may just be sitting alongside you.
Let's do it. Let's bring on Bill Krackman. Krack, we got to talk a little Monday Night Football, maybe NBA prop or so. First off, happy Monday. How are you? How was your weekend?
Yeah, hey guys, how you doing? I seen that Portnoy rant, and I thought it was absolutely irresponsible. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I grew up, with a bunch of crazy people in Philadelphia, New York, gamblers. I know they'll go on rants while they lose games, but one thing about as I matured and got older, and of course I'm a professional gambler now, but I still feel, lose your money like a fucking man. Don't be crying and screaming on the internet and telling people the murder of the coach. Come on, very irresponsible. Of course, we knew to the next day he'd be having an apology, which he did this morning, a half-ass apology. You know what I mean? I think it's
after the damage is already done, after the video's gone viral, after everybody shared it. But you nailed it. You nailed it, Bill. Lose your money like a effing man. Like it's the same. It's the same thing as we're crying to the books because my guy got injured in the first quarter and I want you to refund my bet. You know what? You placed a losing bet, man.
If you guys know, it takes me a lot to curse. Yes, I do curse, but I usually don't curse on shows. But I just don't like what he. And by the way, I was a Portnoy. He was okay. I liked it. I thought some of the stuff was funny, and he's very generous. He's good with dogs. There's so many good things about him. But when it comes to this, very irresponsible. And I seen some responses on the internet. People were just like, this guy says, Mitch Godfrey says, sports bettors believe everything is a conspiracy because of the spread. I can make up allegations on every game if I wanted to. Sorry, I ain't buying this one. Now, I had no skin in the game. I didn't have either side of the game. But let me tell you, that doesn't even fall in the top 20 bad beats I've had in my career. So he's saying it's the worst beat of all time. He's calling for murder. And absolutely irresponsible. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's actually very sad. So now this morning he said, well, I had $250,000. Well, according to your net worth, that's less than 0.3%, which very good. You're betting within your bankroll. You should bet 2%. With your bankroll. But very, 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 very childish. And you know me, I kind of call it like I see it. And I'm going to also tell Kelly that on the next show too. I didn't like what he did. It just listen. I actually watched the end of the game. Yes, I would have been upset if I had the other side of the game, but. All right, he did hold him down for an extra second. It could have been called or not been called, and it would have been fine. The reason why you go for the field goal, though, is because you have a chance, a hair, a smidgen, to kick the field goal and maybe run, some kind of a play where you're kicking the ball and you come up with something where you can. There's even though there'll only be 1 second left, and there wasn't even 1 second because it was such a long field goal, but it's a chance. So there was nothing fixed. There wasn't that's not what happened there. Now, of course, I always say our eyes play tricks on us. So if you're looking through the blinders of you're betting the Broncos and you've laid the points and it's easy win with a couple minutes left up by 2 scores, of course you're only going to look at it from your eyes, from your perspective. Just like someone that bet the Raiders would look at it from his eyes, his blinders on, and say, yeah, you're supposed to kick a field goal there. Like, it's just amazing. But in this day and age where you have these NBA players and there's some, there was even some NFL players betting, baseball players betting. So any little smidgen of anything to think something can be fixed, of course, everyone's going to cry fix if they had Denver Broncos that day. We don't need to hear Portnoy and his, $600 million net worth crying about a game. He looked like he was on drugs or something was wrong with him. I mean, take a shower, Dave, too. Jesus Christ. He just looked crazy. He looked totally crazy in his multi-zillion-dollar mansion. And it kind of makes fun of a lot of people, to be honest with you, in my opinion. So.
Let's do NBA. We got a couple games tonight here, Bill. So not a lot to choose.
Huh? It was beautiful.
You nailed it. You nailed it. So
you took the words out of our mouth, Bill. That's exactly what Andy and I were saying.
Gamble like a man. Don't gamble then if you can't gamble like a man.
Yep.
So NBA, I have an NBA prop up. Is that what you wanted to get to? Sorry if I jumped it.
Yeah, let's do NBA.
Yeah. So I have an NBA prop up. I just want to check on the line. So you know me, I like to give out the current line. I have it up here. Anthony Edwards, Minnesota, points and assists, 33.5. Yeah, over 33.5. Seems like a high number, but this really is a buy low spot for Edwards, to be honest. Coming off his 2 worst games of the season, it's just a good matchup for him versus the Suns tonight. It's a free prop for you guys. His personal matchup in this with the Suns, Dylan Brooks, they just don't like each other either. I wouldn't be surprised if Edwards took 25 plus shots tonight. So I like his over points and assists, 33.5. Looking at that line right here. So I'll tell you too. By the way, another winning week on nothing crazy, but another winning week on WagerTalk. I don't know how many weeks I come into space and say that. I pulled up the records too. NCAA football 4-1, NFL 9-4, NBA 4-1, college basketball, the losing week in college basketball 7-12, but still a winning week, 24-18 last week. And NFL props is just where it continues to roll. And NFL in general, been doing good picking off some of these first halves. I even picked off a side yesterday. I thought the Saints were going to get too many points there. And I won't do a lot of NFL sides, especially day of game, unless something's been overmoved, which I kept on seeing money coming in. Of course, I didn't think Tampa was going to lose outright, but money was coming in. And I said, wow, this is a good buy situation here, plus 8 points, 8.5. I took 8.5 at the South Point. But, so it's been a good season, though, good NFL season. Good college football season's just rolling along. I was a little upset not to see Notre Dame get in. I had a future on at 20-1 on them. Not that would have won, but at least I would have had a shot. I thought they were. It's funny. I was on air on my Fox Sports radio show yesterday, so I was looking. BetMGM had minus 20-1. There was another site minus 25-1. Notre Dame was the big favorite to get in there. Imagine though a 25-1 shot. Actually, I heard it was a 40-1 shot. Somewhere back in Jersey, you have to lay 40-1, lay 25-1, lay 20-1, and then not getting in. Talk about corruption, but that was a bad thing for them. So that's what's going on right now, and just rolling along. Listen, I don't brag about things like out there like a lot of other people, and I wish I had Gianni's spunk and power, and I'm a terrible.
Nobody has that, Bill. Nobody. Gianni's a one of one.
I've never watched Gianni in my life till this year. I knew who he was. Never watched anything on him. I love his energy and his power and what he does. It's fantastic. He deals with a lot of the sharp syndicates like I do. So and when I say sharp sports betting syndicate. So I've been there for decades with some of the sharpest guys in the world. Billy Walters for over 10 years. I worked for Chip and Doyle, Harlem Vulgaris, the Pokers, the Koshers back in the day. I've worked for a lot of the groups and been around a lot of them and learned a lot of things from them. I was a gambler when I first started. I just interested in gambling growing up where I did. They showed me and cultivated me and showed me the right way on many things. Maybe that's the reason why I say the Portnoy to gamble like a man, because I know what it is to have, I have six-figure and I have a lot of bets on the weekend. So I don't even watch a lot of the final results. I get the final results and, I gamble like a man.
It's on to the next one. Yeah, that's the nature. That's the nature of the beast. Krack, we always love when we get you on here on Mondays, get your hot takes, get your thoughts of what happened. Who knew we would have spent so much time talking about Dave Portnoy, but the comments are loving it as well. Comment below and let us know what you thought about the Portnoy rant. Were you on the bad beat as well? But before we turn you loose here, Krack, I'm going to the game tonight here. I'm an Eagles fan living in Los Angeles. I'm going to the game. And personally, for me, I'm not a pom-pom waving fan. I'll bet on my team the same I'll bet against them. I can't find much in this game. So, Krack, we got Steve coming with the full breakdown, so you don't have to go crazy deep on it. But any thoughts here on Monday Night Football and what you're kind of seeing? Because the only thing I think you could bet in this game, if you have an open like teaser or something, maybe you throw it in there with the Chargers. I wouldn't be laying points on the road with the Eagles in the state that they're in right now. What do you think about this one?
And I know people talk about and promote and sell teasers. I'm not trying to go against anyone, but I don't know how you could play a teaser in 2020. Let's call it 2026.
Depending on where you bet it. Yeah.
If
it depends on your route.
Only local guys have 110 and 120 on 6-point teasers. I'm looking at this line now. This line is +2. When this line first came out, I seen BetMGM had 3. Might have even been 3 even. I'm loaded into my account. You can't bet this game now. If you're betting the underdog, you absolutely cannot bet the +2 on this game when you could have had 3. Yeah, there. There it is, +3. +3 even money when the line first came out. Like I'm saying, you can't bet this game now on the dog unless you're just a DJ and you want to take 2 points when you could have took 3. Even yesterday, you could have took +3 minus a quarter. I seen the only way to go on this game is prop bets. I'll have a prop up later on. Proposition bets, I have no, or if you could pick maybe on the other side, maybe Eagles money line or something like that. But I have no side in this game right now at this current line at all. And I just think that I know everyone wants a side. It's Monday Night Football. Prime time. We got to bet. There's no reason why you have to bet something, especially after the line moved. I just got on some like just now, but I can't give them out to customers because it's only unique to certain websites. So like just now, the Saints at South Point, not South Point, at Westgate. Saints were +3. Like, okay, +3 on the Saints looked like a pretty decent bet, but you can't give out the customers because it's not fair. They don't have that line. They have to go buy it somewhere. So. I'll bet a lot of stuff. What I'm trying to say is I'll bet a lot of stuff early in the week, NFL sides here in Vegas, when I can take advantage of that softer market, softer line. Perfect example. Westgate right now, their max bet's $3K, where during the week you could bet up to $50,000 the day of the game. Matter of fact, I talked to John Merril the other day. He said if someone comes up to the counter with 6 figures, they'll take the bet. That's the difference from a Monday compared to close to game time. So whereas a prop bet, I can't even bet it right now. But if I go, next weekend, I can bet $1,000. That's the max. You can bet $1,000 on a prop. You can bet $200,000 on an NFL game. That's why props are beatable. The beatable thing, it's a smaller market. People don't look at it. Player props is the way to go.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, you're talking to the guy who he was doing the prop bets here on WagerTalk when people were just kind of like, "What? Prop bets are a my so you're talking to 2 people who.
I'm here to win. I'm not here to have fun and root.
Yeah.
Happy. My allegiance.
You know what's fun, Bill? Winning bets. That's fun.
Yeah. my allegiance to my bankroll here. I don't give an F what happens to any team member after the game. I don't care about the players.
Put stickers over the names of teams, dude. I'm agnostic to all of it. Well, Bill, always a pleasure, buddy. Best of luck tonight. You can check him out, wt.buzz/Krack. That's Bill Krackomberger right there, Andy. And we get him, the legend, right here on the show every single Monday. Beautiful thing.
I remember when I first started doing props, I had two people actually tell me that they're not real bets.
Yeah.
That was actually said to me. Props aren't real bets. How times have changed. And so
Exactly.
we're going to do all around the world after we talk to Steve Merril, and then Dan's got a new segment, LFG or WTF. We will debut that. I have one play that is up for Monday Night Football, and I absolutely love it. Primetime props have been insanely good this year, 24-12 on primetime games. I do not understand why the primetime plays have been so profitable and so good, but I'm not going to argue it. So partner up with us. We had a really, really big weekend overall in units. We had a winning record in football yesterday, but we did lose our big one. So I'm glad we added a bunch of those smaller ones. But WT.buzz/AL, it's the best bet on the board in my humble opinion. But we've been doing really, really well in December, and November we closed out a really big month. So we had a nice sprint to the end of 2025. So join us. Monday Night Football, best bet is on the board. Let's get a full breakdown with Steve Merril here. Steve, happy Monday. How are you? How was your weekend?
Great. NFL swept the board yesterday, 3-0 sweep. And fading the public, Andy, we've been talking about it all season. It's been working consistently, just constantly, 60%, 60%. And last week was interesting because fading the public went 3-1 in my video, but all four teams won outright, but only one of the four covered. And I talked about how the extra line value with fading the public is why you win long term, especially late in the season in December. And looky here, yesterday 4-0 fading the public, so 7-1 the last 2 weeks, and two of those were half-point covers going against the Bears, a big public dog, and those Broncos, who won by 7, of course, as we discussed, laying 7.5. So it's now 63% on the season, 39-23. And that video, of course, is free here every weekend on WagerTalk TV. But my point is, it works long-term because you get extra line value, especially against ugly teams in December. And long-term, if you play these out-of-the-playoff contention teams like the Saints yesterday, right, they do well. So just something to keep in mind. Doesn't apply tonight because we have two playoff-caliber teams. I think Dan's Eagles are playoff caliber still. The Chiefs maybe not.
To hear that.
Here's the one that's interesting, though, guys. The look-ahead line right now for the game next week against the Chargers is 4.5. The Chiefs are a 4.5-point home favorite next week against the Chargers.
Jeez.
Last night was their spot, and they still came up short. I will be surprised unless Herbert gets hurt worse tonight with that left hand injury that line is 4.5 by next week.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, let's break down this game, Steve. We got the Chargers, we got the Eagles. Philly's -2 right now, over under 42. You can even find it a little bit lower here. What's your breakdown on this game?
Yeah, 41's the key number with totals. There's about a 3 to 4% chance this game lands exactly 41, and I bring that up because we are seeing 41.5s, 42s out there. So there's a little bit of a line value still with the under here. I'm going to take it a step further and look at the team total under for the Eagles. And I did a standalone free play video earlier in the week, and I mentioned this approach because we didn't know for sure if Herbert was going or not. He was listed as probable or questionable, actually. Now he's probable. He did practice Thursday and Friday, limited practice, like 7-on-7 drills. His left hand is fractured, his non-throwing hand, but they're talking about going to more shotgun formations. They don't want him under center with that top hand taking the impact of every snap. So a lot of uncertainty there with the Chargers. It would help the under if he is banged up, but I think he's okay to go. Joe Alt out, of course, for the Chargers. Eagles banged up as well. So I think the under makes sense in this game. I would lean under 41.5, 42, but I'm going to go a little deeper with the team total under for the Eagles, under 21.5. Charger team total is 20.5. Eagles team total is 21.5. Obviously, 21 is a very key number. Good chance that a team scores 21 points in the NFL or any football game for that matter. The way scoring takes place, it's 3 touchdowns and an extra point. And also, if you look at the Eagles recently this season, they're only averaging 22.5 points a game. That's against a schedule that allows 24. The Chargers give up just 21 points a game against teams that average about 21. So Chargers are slightly above average defense, 5.2 yards per play against teams that average 5.4. Eagles average 5.5 against teams that allow 5.7. So the Eagles' points, yards per play, they're a below-average offensive team. And you can make an argument they've been even worse here the last couple of months. They started the season off scoring 24 or more in 3 of their first 4 games. They have since scored 21 or less in 6 of their last 8 games, including just 15 points last Friday against the Bears defense, who's one of the worst in the league. I don't think this is necessarily a bounce-back spot for Philly after back-to-back losses, but I do respect their pedigree, defending Super Bowl champs. back against the wall. So I'm not going to look at the side. I'm going to look at the total. I would lean under, but I think the team total under for the Eagles under 21.5 makes a lot of sense. And something I did not mention in the video this weekend, which I will throw out here, is the Chargers do make an excellent teaser. And I get that teaser odds have become skewed. That's why I don't release them to clients anymore. You can't be laying minus 130, minus 140. But if you get that minus 125 or less price on a 6.2 team teaser, Chargers look like an excellent teaser tonight. The 2.5, take that up to 8.5. You're getting all those key numbers, 3, 4, 6, 7 working for you in what should also be a low-scoring game once again, which makes teasers more valuable. And, of course, you got to tie that up with something next Sunday. Several games are in those key teaser categories, but the one that kind of jumps out to me early is Chicago at home minus 7.5 against Cleveland, getting them down to minus 1.5. My guess is the public will probably be in Chicago. Cleveland might be one of those fade the public plays, but as I mentioned, a lot of times they're 1 point, half-point covers. Getting Chicago down to 1.5 puts them in a basic straight-up win situation off the loss. That looks like a pretty good two-team teaser in the NFL.
Yeah, Andy, just one thing I'll also add in on what Steve's talking about being around that team total. It's been 4 straight games that my Philadelphia Eagles have scored 22 or fewer points. So it's been a good bet just taking the Eagles team total under, and now they're facing a defense that 4 out of their last 5 games, as Steve alluded to there, has allowed 21 or fewer points. So I would love to call plays tonight. Trust me, it would be a hell of a lot better than whatever.
Yeah, Dan, it seems too obvious,
there.
though. My concern when I did the video was it seems too obvious for the exact reasons you mentioned.
It does.
But then again, the Chiefs under last night seemed too obvious, so I stayed away from it. Focus spot for the other Super Bowl team, and we saw how bad they're. You just can't fix bad offense, right, overnight.
And that's the thing, Steve, is sure, it feels obvious, and yes, all of these expectations are built into the number that it's sitting at right now. However, do we just magically think, oh, the Eagles are finally going to add a bunch of pre-snap motion? Do we just magically think, oh, this team is finally going to figure out the run game without their best tackle playing? So, yes, it seems too obvious, but obvious bets win sometimes, Steve. And on a game like tonight, when people just want action, it's Monday Night Football, it's standalone, you have to try and make an informed wager. And I don't think that's on the side or the straight up total. I think diving in a little bit deeper and ISOing in on just one team and handicapping that team, I like that play. Unfortunately, for me as an Eagles fan, I'd hopefully like to see a couple more points since I'll be there at the game. But if I cash a bet with Steve Merril, it'll ease some hedge.
It's a great emotional hedge, Dan, because you could actually win the bet and still the Eagles could win the game. But if you win that bet, they might lose. Yeah, you get where I'm going.
13-10, Andy. Let's get a 13-10 win. There we go.
No. All right, let's go to the NBA, Steve. Suns and Timberwolves. Devin Booker looks like he's still out. Anthony Edwards has had a couple bad games in a row. We got chat here, the chat about Naz Reid having big games. I was looking at his props earlier. This Suns team, really interesting start to the season. It's a completely different attitude with this team. Dylan Brooks has come in and just made him this feisty, annoying team to have to play. Like, this has to be one of the toughest teams to play against because they're kind of dirty. Dylan Brooks is always yapping and in people's faces. Interesting game here tonight. How do you break down the Suns and the Timberwolves?
3 NBA games on the board tonight on Monday, and this will be a good one. I believe this is the national TV game kind of there in the middle, and this is, of course, Phoenix at Minnesota. Time change 7:40 Eastern. I think this is like the Peacock game. I'd have to check. But it's an interesting matchup because the Suns are shorthanded without Booker, and I was on WagerTalk Today a week ago on Monday breaking down the Lakers and Suns, and I like the Suns as a best bet, used it for my clients as well, and they won outright by 17 points as a 5-point dog. But if you told me Devin Booker was going to be injured 10 minutes into the game with a groin injury, not sure I would have used that play. But as we always see, you play the shorthanded team, especially on short notice when the other team isn't prepared, and magic happens. By the way, the Suns are 0-3 straight up their other 3 games on each side, including the game this past Friday at Houston when they did not play with Booker. They lost that game by 19 and failed to cover as a 9-point dog. One thing that's concerning about Phoenix is their defense. They've given up 48% shooting or worse in 5 of their last 6 games. So if they do win this one tonight, probably going to have to get up and over that total, which is currently sitting around 224. And by the way, as I do this game live here on WagerTalk Today at 12:50 Eastern, several books have just taken this game off the board. So maybe I should pause in my analysis. I'm looking at the odds logic screen right now, and it is lighting up red, which means stop. Do your research. Devin Booker, I'm seeing listed as out. We'll dig a little bit deeper. When you're watching this an hour later, maybe he's in. I'm not expecting Booker to play. Either way, though, I like the Suns in this one. I was going to give out some props without Booker out there and say guys that might step up in his absence, or some secondary guys like Dillon Brooks, who, by the way, averages 22.5 points a game. He'd be leading a lot of teams in scoring behind Booker's 25. Or Grayson Allen at 17 points a game. Both of those guys are playing over 31 minutes a game. Even if Booker magically appears, which he's not supposed to, but once again, right around 1 o'clock Eastern here, I see this game lighten up, so we'll see what's going on. I think there's some sneaky player prop opportunities with Grayson Allen, and here's why. As I mentioned, he's going to probably be the other big scorer with Dillon Brooks if Booker is out, even if he's limited. But if you look at the game against Houston, Dillon Brooks came in, had 31 minutes, 23 points, 10 for 24 shooting. So, yes, there's some more upside with his over. But what about Grayson Allen? He played 26 minutes, only had 9 points, but he was only 3 for 12 shooting, only 1 for 7. Brooks and Allen combined were 1 for 11 from three-point range in that game on Friday. So I like the Suns to bounce back here against Minnesota, and I think some Brooks, Grayson Allen props over scoring-wise could be worth a look also. But, hey, do your due diligence. As I'm talking about this game right now, oh, I see what it is. Boom. Got to love Odds Logic. And by the way, if you'd like a 7-day free trial to oddslogic.com, it's on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And you'll see that an injury update just popped. Anthony Edwards, illness, questionable to play tonight against Phoenix. Breaking news for you live here on Wager Talk Today. And for those of you watching my video here on Wager Talk TV.
Come on. It's
NBA
1 o'clock in the afternoon, and now we're already getting questionable.
How crazy
this doesn't
is that?
go well.
Seriously, guys, like, this is a 1 hour show. Like, if I did this breakdown 2 minutes ago, none of this would have popped. It's unreal.
0.
Gross.
That's why we love the Crackman rants. We wouldn't have gotten that info if Crackman didn't rant.
If Portnoy hadn't said what he said, then the live viewers and the viewers of the videos here on Wager Talk TV wouldn't have an up-to-date video, and I'd be hung to dry. I wasn't going to talk about Anthony Edwards, luckily. This line is dropping now, by the way. It was 10, now it's 9, now it's 8.5. You almost like Minnesota if Edwards doesn't play right, because you can't lay 8.5 without Edwards out there. We know how this turns out. No, I still like Phoenix in this spot, and I would actually like it better without Edwards. I think Phoenix is in a focused spot, and they're not going to have their best player either. Total is really dropping, guys, down to 223. Hard to disagree with the two best offensive players out for each team, but as we know, weird things happen in the NBA. All these guys can score in their sleep.
Steve, we got tons of bowl games coming up, and you're going to do a bunch of bowl breakdown videos. I think you pretty much cover every single bowl game. So what can people expect here on the YouTube channel coming up?
So I'm going to do every single bowl game just like I did for every NCAA tournament game. We'll have that on a daily basis. So you make sure you click subscribe and you click that bell. You'll get an instant alert. And by the way, this past week I gave you all 9 championship college football conference championship games. And with the NFL free play videos, my Fade the Public, the prime game, which is now 11-3, that Thursday night winner on the Lions, and also my free play of the day Sunday, I realized I gave you 12 of the 14 NFL games for free. So that's right, 21 of the 23 football games last week, I gave everyone for free. Now, people might be thinking, what are you doing, Steve? Why should we go to your page to get your best bets? Well, that's exactly why you should get my best bets, because most of those games, 21 out of the 23, only a few of those maybe were official plays. Most of them are 1% TV leans, lights, opinions. I'm basically pulling back the curtain and let you know how I'm handicapping all the games, giving you my leans. But if you want the official best bets, the strong 4% best bets, same plays that swept the board in the NFL, 3-0 yesterday on Sunday, number 1 in units won over the past year. Check out my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Of course, you can get there quicker with WT.buzz/SM, but I've got another buzz code for you for this week, and I haven't released it anywhere. First time, right here, right now, 1 year, all access, all sports for about $1 a play, over an $800 instant discount when you go to WT.buzz/Steve365. WT.buzz/Steve365. You see it on the screen. Couldn't be any simpler. This is the absolute lowest price I've ever offered for 1 year all access. It'll get every personal best bet I'm using every day for the next 365 days and nights. Don't make that New Year's resolution on January 1st. Do it right now and get the next year into next December, including baseball, basketball, football, college, and pro for about $1 a play. WT.buzz/Steve365. Exclusive debut right here, right now.
All right, Steve, thanks very much. Excited for all these bowl videos. Nobody works harder at the free videos than you. So thank you very much. Don't forget, grab that 365-day pass for Steve Merril. All right, let's do some free plays, Dan, and then let's do WTF or LFG.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, let's do WTF LFG first.
Okay.
This
Okay,
is your concept. You explain it, and then we'll get the live chat involved with this one.
So here's the idea behind it is, I just coming on here on the show and just asking some questions, that's not going to get it done. What do people want, Andy? They want picks. They want thoughts. They want opinions. So each and every day, I will come with a bet. Might be a side, might be a prop, might be a total. It could be in lacrosse. It could be in football. It could be in any sport. But the thought is I'm going to try and get Andy to be wooed on potentially betting this play with me. It's a play that I will bet myself. I won't just throw him out here. We'll track him on the show as well here. But LFG or WTF? We already used our one F word of the show, so I won't spell out what those mean. But LFG, let's effing go, or WTF, what the F? And the thought process is LFG, is Andy and the chat riding with me on this play, or is it just what the F? What are you thinking, Dan? Why are you doing this? Unfortunately, Krack used our F word. So Andy, the prop for us today that I am betting, do I think the Eagles will win tonight? I'm not so sure. I'm kind of with the chat here. You can't bet the side, but a prop that I found in this game that I like quite a bit, Andy, and I have bet with my own money, Jalen Hurts over 30.5 rushing yards. The thought process here for me is there's been all this talk this past week about Jalen's unwillingness to run. And Hurts, even in a presser earlier this week, he addressed it and he said, where did we come to that conclusion? And typically when Jalen speaks out in press conferences, he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder. So I think he might tuck it a little bit more than he typically would. I also expect some design runs simply because you're without Lane Johnson. You're going to try and have to change things up here in the run game. And for what it's worth, Andy, Hurts isn't wrong saying how do we come to that conclusion. He has 330 rushing yards as a quarterback, 84 attempts this season. So it's been dropped with less regularity, but those numbers put him at an average of around 6 rush attempts per game. He's lined at around 7.5 this game, and it's heavily juiced to the over. Chargers, solid defense. Don't get me wrong, Andy, but when they've seen mobile quarterbacks, there's been a susceptibility to allowing some rush yards. Pat Mahomes, 47 yards on 6 attempts, 33 yards on 8 attempts for Bo Nix, 54 yards on 10 attempts for Jackson Dart. Finally, Jaden Daniels, 39 yards. That's the fewest on 8 different attempts. This rush prop is just feeling a little too low for me with a guy with this chip on his shoulder. Jalen Hurts, over 30.5 rush yards. Andy, LFG or WTF? You tailing or fading?
I'll go LFG with you on this one with Lane Johnson out. Yeah, with Lane Johnson out, there could be some pass protection breakdowns. And also Saquon Barkley has been complete ass this year. And you're not getting those explosive runs. I'm serious. You're not getting those explosive runs that eat up huge chunks of yards. And Jalen Hurts he's just so sneaky at, it's 3rd and 8. The pocket opens up, and all of a sudden there's a 17-yard run. He does it in chunks, not volume. So, yeah, I think I'll ride with you. I don't know if it's not going to make the client card, but yeah, LFG.
That's fair. We had one LFG and a bunch of WTFs in here. So comment below after the video. Say Dan, LFG, or WTF. Everybody is fading this one, Andy. Which actually makes me feel a little bit better about this one. Jalen Hurts, I'm against the chat.
Always.
I'm against the world. Over 30.5 rush yards, boots on the ground. And this is also a reason, Andy, we got your all around the world. I like the fact that people think that Jalen Hurts isn't running because the actual facts have just been different. Has it been as successful? No, but the attempts have been there. So that's the thoughts there. Comment below. Let us know, Dan, LFG, or WTF, and we'll track them, Andy.
All right. Let's go all around the world, give out some free plays, and then we can get out of here. Thank you so much, guys. Make sure you hit the like button. And, again, Monday Night Football, best bet is up. Only one best prop on the board, 24-12 primetime run. Here's some free plays. That is not the right one, Dan?
Oh, yeah, Panthers and 49ers, Andy. That's a big game here tonight. Buddy. Give me 1 second here. Sorry about that.
They already played.
Yeah.
All right.
It was a good game, though. It was a good. Jalen Hurts definitely didn't go over his rushing in that game. Here you go, Andy.
Okay, here we go. Eagles, Chargers. Take a look at Dallas Goedert, under 3.5 on his receptions. 2 receptions in each of the last 3 games. Jalen Hurts' accuracy has not been good there. 11 targets, 6 catches in those games. And the Chargers are pretty good against tight ends. They give up less than 4 catches per game to tight ends. So Dallas Goedert under. Looking at De'Aaron Fox over 23.5 points. I've been watching the Spurs quite a bit recently. I don't know why. This guy is such a ball hog, but we can take advantage of that. The Pelicans give up 123 points per game. He's gone over this in 10 out of 11 games. He's shooting the ball 18 times from the field, but he is shooting 50%. I'll give him that. So De'Aaron Fox over 23.5. And then this comes from the free picks page over at WagerTalk. You guys looking for some free picks for tonight? This one comes from Ralph Michaels. Wild and the Kraken, the Wild money line at -130. The Wild are on a 12-5 run. They have lost back-to-back games, but they're 4-1 after a loss, and they've only allowed 4 goals in those wins after a loss. Meanwhile, the Kraken have dropped 5 in a row, and they are 1 for their last 19 power play successful conversion rate. So not getting goals on the power play. Take a look at the Wild on the money line. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We're going to do it again tomorrow. Dan, thank you so much for joining us. Please hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. 250,000 people cannot be wrong. We got to be doing something right over here. So good luck on all your plays. Make sure we bet responsibly. See everyone tomorrow, same time, same place on Wager Talk Today. Good luck on your bets. Take care.